All right. Is this thing on? Hopefully you guys can hear me, but if not, oh well, I will have just wasted 30 minutes. But anyway, hello. Hello there, or whoever listening, if anybody. But we're gonna try this YouTube thing out because money. But, also at a certain point, you can't just keep railing at your friends and family talking about the state of the world, so why not pollute the internet sphere with one more commentary that we probably don't need. However, we're trying it. But yeah, this is really just more of a test video, so I'm gonna be blabbering on for 30 minutes or so, trying to see if I can reach this 30-minute goal. I've been watching these videos from Glow Economo, I think that's her name. But beautiful black lady, and she has a channel mainly talking about, her journey, her life. She lives outside the U.S., which, of course, I think it's starting to become its own, its own aesthetic at this point. I think we all want to get out of here, but she has this channel talking about her life. I believe she lives in Thailand, and then, just talking about how to upload to YouTube and positivity and growth and all that exciting stuff. But yeah, she was saying that one of the main ways to get monetized is obviously post every day, and she was saying post a 30-minute video every day. Um, Now I know this sounds intimidating to some people, which understandably so. However, some of y'all might not be yappers. Some of y'all might not be yappers. Like, part of me is like, oh my gosh, talking for 30 minutes completely uninterrupted? Sign me the bleep up. Yeah, also, that's another thing. I'm gonna have to actually figure out like the YouTube rules, what you can and can't say and do and see and stuff. Because, as a consumer of YouTube content, obviously I know like people, when people say corn and block out all this stuff, you're like, okay, I know what's going on here, right? But now that I'm sitting here like just recording off the cuff, I'm like, oh my god, what can and can't I say? Which is crazy because it's just like censorship, whatever. Also, I'm like simultaneously scrolling while I'm talking right now because uh the age of the cell phone. But I was trying to look up the lady's name, Glow Autonom Autonomo Glow Autonomo. I was trying to see her name so I could pronounce it correctly, and of course, in trying to reach her page, I got distracted by a thumbnail, a headline on my YouTube feed from PBS NewsHour of all people. It says DOJ deploys tactic to strip naturalized Americans of citizenship. Um, that title right there in and of itself is kind of scary, and I don't even know if we're gonna start jumping into that completely. I think there's like a lot of things um, that we have to get to. But I guess first I should just like introduce myself, let you guys know what I'm trying to do, let you guys know what's going on. Okay, so hi, hello. Welcome to Ever Endeavors. That is the name of this channel for now. So we're gonna see if we like it. We're gonna see how that goes. Um, my name is my name. Shout out to who knows that, who knows that joke. Um, but for now, let's keep it casual. Let's keep it here. I don't really have like a YouTube alias or anything right now. Like I said, I'm really just trying out this first video and seeing if I can really sit here and sit through the discomfort of talking to myself for 30 minutes out loud. Let's be honest, we all talk to ourselves, but recording it is just another level of insanity. And the more I start to do this and the longer I go on, my appreciation is quite literally growing by the minute for people who post on YouTube. But yeah, discomfort to say the least. But yes, my name is my name, and I'm just here for a couple different reasons. So, number one, like I mentioned, yes, money. Um, if any of you guys who are listening are living in the US right now, I think you can appreciate the sentiment of having to do something for money. Um, the cost of everything is out of hand. You know, gas and groceries is what those people voted for, and that's not what they got. Lower gas and groceries is not what they got. But yeah, gas and groceries, just the everyday stuff is high. I remember I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw this post, and this guy was like literally posting his history, like posting the price of an item he ordered this year and then 3 years ago, and it was quite literally double the price. It's like a cut of steak, same exact weight and cut, just double the amount, went from like $8 to 16. And I was just like, it's unreal. And I think I've been feeling that too. Like I've been shopping at Costco and Harris Teeter and whatnot, and it just feels like I swear I'm buying less and less stuff, but the price keeps going up. Like I swear, like I've been, decreasing the amount of processed foods I'm eating because honestly, at this point, the whole healthy eating is expensive is out the window. Eating, period, is expensive, but the healthy part, it doesn't even matter because I'm starting to feel like the shortcuts that were supposed to be, well, I don't want to say shortcuts, that I think that feels a little not a comprehensive word, but essentially eating processed foods to save money, right? That it's not even necessarily a viable option anymore. I mean, the noodles, the chips, the cereal, all that kind of stuff is just as expensive, if not more, as getting a pack of chicken with some rice and some broccoli. So, for my health, anyway, as well. But yeah, I've been cutting back on the amount of processed foods I'm getting, really just buying whole ingredients. And I mean like whole ingredients, not even like pre cut stuff or pre bagged and pre washed, just the straight up head of cabbage, right? All that kind of stuff. And I swear, the less I get, the more I spend. But again, we're going off subject. We're supposed to be doing an intro right now, so we're gonna rein it in. Um, what was I saying? Yes. So yeah, yeah. One of the main goals of this channel is obviously to make a little money. However, another important goal, and probably actually the first main important goal, I would say, is expression. I know the cheesy old adage of express yourself and creativity and all that nonsense. However, it remains to be true. Um, I think, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this sentiment, but I think a lot of people right now kind of feel lost, right? I think we all feel the loss of words, of what to do, how to act, like what to say, how to help, right? And like I, joked earlier, I was kind of reaching a point where I felt like I was wearing on the people around me a lot, right? I think I do have a lot of things to say and a lot of things to express. And, you know, and I can write it all down, which I do. I love journaling. I actually, took a little hiatus from it. I haven't been as consistent, so that's also something I think I'm going to start implementing again. But it's just it's hard not to say something about everything that's going on right now. It's hard not to feel frustrated or pressured or opinionated, right? I think most of us do. I think a lot of us have a lot of grief and strife that we want to express. And so that is one of my main sentiments, right? Is not only getting it out and saying it out loud, but doing it in a way that isn't distressing for the people around me. So that's one of my main things here. But also, I think in saying that, right, I don't want to just add to the noise. I think a lot of us here have been to a point where we're just scrolling on whatever platform, and you get a little. I don't want to venture as far to say it's hopeless, but you get a little worn out. You get tired, right? Because you're hearing all these things. You're hearing all these facts, all this information, right? Of all the numbers of the economy and the wages and the housing and the food and the whatever, right? And you hear all the stuff. And if you're anything like me, you're hearing all this information, right? It's having the impact it's supposed to have on you emotionally, but then you're not sure how to channel that emotion and anger, right? Because like I said, I can journal, I can talk to my friends and family about it and vent and do whatever I may need to do. But then it just kind of feels like it dies on the vine, right? It's like, well, where is this going? What are we doing? What are we doing with this information? What are we doing with this emotion, with this energy? And and I think that a lot of us could even as far as venture to say that we have a sort of disillusionment with the options in terms of fixing what we're facing right now. Um, and to be fair, I haven't explored as fully as I could have, right? Just in my immediate environment and locally, right? But when we really start to dig into kind of the ways that people say get active, right? Get in motion, right? Vote locally, right? Organize, mutual aid. These are the keywords, these are the buzzwords that are going around. Two people and four people who are feeling like this time in life is not working for me and I want to do something about it. I want to help, I want to contribute, I want to be a part of something bigger than myself that is going to positively impact the direction of this country and the world and whatever grandiose way we have of saying stuff. And those things are true, right? Um, I can't speak for y'all. I don't know about what you're doing, but personally, yes, I could be more involved in local politics. Um, I could be in part in an organizing group, right? A community group, right? I know one off the top of my head that I have some friends in that I'm not a part of. I could join that. And I'm inspired by their work, and we'll get to that. I won't get into specifics now, but there's that, right? Mutual aid is still kind of a fuzzy term to me. Not that I don't know what it means or understand it or even haven't seen it in practice. I have. I just know that, no shade, but once the internet gets a hold of something, the term can get very misconstrued and misused in a lot of different ways. So, like, sometimes what people think is mutual aid is really something else, and that something else is fine, but it's not that. But anyway, yeah. So, and again, I'm just kind of rattling off the top of my head. So, feel free to put in the comments below, like, organize me once you hear this if you make it this far. Um, but yeah. So, like I said, these are the kind of things that get thrown off of you at the top of the at the top, right? It's like, this is how you can help. This is how you can make an impact. This is how you can make a difference. Vote. Call your senators and your Congress people. Organize. Do these things, right? And I'm not saying that those things don't work, right? Because we can say all we want sitting outside the club. I can say all I want when I'm sitting on my ass, sitting here talking to a microphone by myself, right? I can talk all that nonsense. But the thing is again, that word disillusionment. I think a lot of us feel that in terms of vote local. Um, I have I don't want to say a problem. I'm not convinced that this current political system is something that can be essentially infiltrated from the inside, right? Which I think we've all heard that kind of idea of like making it better from the inside. I'm gonna become a cop to reform the police department. I'm gonna make money so I can distribute it better than other people who are making money. I'm gonna do these things. I'm gonna rise up in the system in order to break the system, which for most of y'all here, I think you already hear the oxymoron in that, right? And I'm not saying that that's impossible or wrong, but again, we're humans. We get attached to things, we get attached to stuff. So, however noble the idea, once we use a system to rise up, and we actually do, and we actually get to a place where we want to be, I do believe you're not going to be as willing to want to dismantle that system, right? And so, I think that's fair to say about politicians, right? And I'm sure if you're starting at a local level, right, you probably do have good intentions at heart, right? You really do want to make a difference in your town, in your city, wherever. And then maybe you actually get stuff done and you're like, oh crap, like I'm the mayor, I'm the whatever, like I have power, I have influence, I can actually do the things I want to do and get stuff done. Let me keep going. And then you're the mayor, then you're a congressman, then you're a senator, then you're whatever. And along the way, it just feels that something always happens where these people who are good intentioned, who were and possibly believe that they still are, lose sight of the vision, right? Which the vision is really what we're trying to culminate to here, which we'll get to that. But yeah, it's like you lose sight of why you even decided to get in the mud anyway, right? Now you're just playing in there. And do you really want the mud to go away because you start to feel part of it, right? So that whole again, so the whole vote local thing with me is I feel the current political system is essentially poisoned, right? Not to be dramatic, but feel, it does not feel constructive to our current situation, right? It feels like why we're in this current situation, if anything. Um, and just as I'm talking, I'm getting so many more ideas of honestly future videos and things that we could delve into. But yeah, vote local doesn't seem like a solution to me because I guess I'm basically saying I'm not sure how much I believe in voting anymore. And I think a lot of people could agree with that. But there's that, right? And then again, the mutual aid and community organizing, right? Kind of general terms again thrown out of solutions to help. Um, Community organizing is a courageous effort, first of all. I applaud anybody that's a part of it and that's doing it and is boots on the ground, and I genuinely admire them. Uh, for me personally, I don't feel as though I have found a community, a pre existing, organized community group that I necessarily align with, that I agree with what their visions are, right? Um, and I think that ties into the mutual aid piece well, which is yes, I do believe that help your friends, help your neighbors, help your family, right? We got to band together. We got to do what we can do to help each other. However, it gets to a point of what is the vision, right? And I think that's what I'm really trying to culminate to here, and especially with doing this video and future videos, and what I really want to talk about and get into is what what are y'all's vision for the future, truly and genuinely? What is the vision? What is the goal? Right? Because yes, I on a very real basic level, I understand the things that people are going for, right? Especially if you're aligned with the Democratic Party or call yourself a democratic socialist, which I really need to do more research on because it's kind of funny the way that people flame that term. I don't know about what you guys are hearing, but it's like they're like you can't be a democratic socialist or that's really meaningless, blah blah blah. You know, it's really interesting this whole DSA thing and peace, and also something we can get into if you guys are interested. Let me know. But yeah, what is the vision, right? Because of course, again, if you're left aligned, I'm sure it's free child care, universal health care, affordable housing, higher wages, right? These are the things, these are the platforms that everybody runs on, which great, tremendous, tremendous, commendable. We love it. Tremendable is actually like kind of cute. I kind of like that word. Tremendable is really fun for that. But anyway, and I want those things too, obviously. Like I told you earlier, I'm doing this for money. I am in this for the money. Um, Not solely, but yes, I do hope to get monetized to be transparent with you guys, and I think you can understand that. If, especially, shout out to all my bill payers out there listening. You already know what the deal is. But my thing is, when I say vision, I mean the future, right? The literal future. Not even 10, but 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, when we're dead and gone, when the people who are on this planet living now, God willing, the planet is still here after we're dead, because climate change is a whole other thing that we will also be getting into, I'm sure. But, you know, willing that the planet is here, right? And I say that with as much seriousness and also levity as possible, given that it's here after the people that are on it are gone, right? The people who are listening right now, once we're gone, what do you want it to look like, right? And I think I don't think that's a question that people ask enough, genuinely in their goals and plans and what they're trying to do, because it sounds so big and vague and like hard to touch. But for me, it feels so close, and I'll tell you why, and we'll get to that. But for me, yes, right? Obviously, higher wages, affordable housing, universal health care. But for me, I guess my thing is, when are we going to get to the point of like understanding or stating the umbrella or the goal all those things are under? Because for me, I genuinely think the goal is free existence, right? And I think that's something we all throw out and say again when we're talking to our friends and family, or just spouting off at the mouth like, oh, these things should be free. And I understand that to some that is a radical statement, right? Like housing should be free. Let's just start there if we say that. To some, they're gonna lose their mind. They're gonna lose their mind if we say that. And not even necessarily in a negative way, right? We can state the directions, right, left, center, whatever, right? And we're assuming people on the right would lose their mind about that. But again, I don't even want to go too much into political terms right now. I really want to just talk about people and what they want, right? I'm sure there are some people like, oh, free housing or just living free is crazy. It's not gonna happen. No way can happen. I'm sure there are people then in the center who maybe they want it, but they don't genuinely believe it's true, or they're just like, how would that even work? They're doubtful. And then there are people like me. I don't want to say like me, but there are the others who this is what we want, and we genuinely believe it's possible, and we're just trying to figure out how to get there. And as we'll see, we're probably gonna get weird on this channel. We're gonna be talking about all kinds of nonsense, right? But how do we get to that timeline? How do we jump there? How do we quantum leap there? Whatever y'all want to say. How do we get to me being able to have a place to stay, food in my belly, clothes on my back, and a way to get around for free? How do we have that for free? And to me, that's what all these things are under, right? Universal health care, all those things. I think it's a genuine sentiment, a human evolution of, hey, you guys, we've really solved the problem on an animalistic level of we got something to eat every day, right? Because if you look at other species on the planet, that's what's dictating their day. What am I gonna eat today? And if I got something to eat, I'm chilling, right? Like that's really what they be looking like on Animal Planet. The lions, the foxes, everybody. Once they got their meal, they're done. And then once they need to eat again, then that is the goal for however many hours, days, whatever. That food, water, and shelter. That is it. That is what they are on. And understandably so. Because for me, my thing is, as humans, we've gotten that solved for everybody. We can grow our food. We can construct a little house. We can, you know, we we can have clean water. There's a lot of things trying to make that an issue, but again, I feel like I keep saying in the next video, which is funny. I'm like future obligating myself, but also I'm looking down at time just now. I'm like, oh wow, these 30 minutes are already running out fast. This is crazy. I didn't think it was gonna be this easy. Told y'all I was a yapper. But yeah, for me, if we're to the point where it's like we can feed ourselves, right? And I know that there are a lot of places on the planet that have or are currently experiencing famine. Me personally, I do think there is enough food. It's the distribution that's the problem, right? Because just here in America, we know how much food gets thrown away that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. And it's simply just thrown away because they don't want to give it away for free. That's really it. That's all it boils down to. Because the amount of people that could just line up at a Burger King at the end of the night and take the food that they didn't sell, like nobody would be hungry, right? But whatever. The point being, right, is this free thing is really a struggle for a lot of people, especially the people who seem to have concentrated the power in their hands. Um, and I just really wonder when we are going to get to that question, right? Because again, within the current political system, right, a whole party, a whole swath of people want these things. They want universal health care and universal child care and better wages and all these things. And we can get into talking about what happens to jobs and stuff and everything is free. We're gonna get into that. That is the point. But to wrap it all up, that's what I want to talk about is the vision for the future. And what could we be doing now, however small or big, to make that happen, right? So if my goal is truly to live in a world that's free, where basic necessities are covered, how do we do that? How do we get there, right? And I think maybe, we'll have a series exploring that or have some videos really addressing that. But that's really what I want this channel to be about and to talk about. Not, just completely that vision, but wrapping it all the way up to the beginning. Again, there's so much out there that's kind of doom and gloom, and not necessarily for just that fact, but yeah, it's just constantly pointing out what's wrong, right? And I think in this age of information, we know what's wrong. We know what's going on. We've been known what the problem is, and I think we've gotten to the point where a lot more people are educated on what the issues are than they used to be, right? I think if we look back to past movements and 80s, 70s, you know, 60s, it was more of disseminating the information, drawing attention to the problem, and letting people know that, hey, this is actually the problem, this is the problem, and this is what we want to do about it, right? We don't even, that step is done. People know what the issue is. People know the issue is what the issue is, and people also know that we're upset about it. So that part's done. For me personally, in my opinion. So to me, this whole point is I really want to focus on and kind of bring credence and just volume to the notion of like, what do we do next, right? And again, I know that there are other ways to do this. I know that, like the things I mentioned in the video earlier, with the getting more involved in local politics and mutual aid and organizing. I know these things are options. They just haven't necessarily felt online to me. And again, I think I could try harder, and I probably will. But in the meantime, I just need to find voices that sound like mine, right? That I don't want to say agree with me, but essentially are getting to what I feel like is the crux of the problem, the issue, which is like, what are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna do? And I think that's really what I want to start talking about. I really want, I guess, they say be the change you want to see in the world. I really just want to hear more about the solutions, the imaginative part of it, right? The long, stretching, standing foundations that we have to build, right? I think we can all see, and it's scary in a sense, but I think we can all see that this system is dismantling. It is kind of crumbling. And it's scary. Some people may want to hold on to it or keep it because it's beneficial to them. And some people, even if it's not working for them, they want to keep it because it's familiar. And I was in that camp. Sometimes I'm still in that camp, right? Because again, I said I'm making this video for money, and I am. So there's that. But genuinely, I feel as if though we're here to offer some other solutions of, even if it's just a vision, a hope, and a pipe dream. Which I've been watching Snowfall, so the term pipe dream is really just kind of now clicking for me. Like I always knew what it mean, but it's really taking on a new literal meaning for me. But yeah, I just really want to hear more people talk about the other side of it, the 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 light outside of the tunnel, right? We're inside the tunnel now and we can see the light, but I want people to start describing the light that's emanating. What is happening on that other side of the tunnel? Because I want to feel there. I don't know about y'all, but I want to feel there. I want to be there. And so I guess we're gonna have to conjure it up if need be. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now because I hit my goal. We're at 33 minutes, and I hope you guys made it this far. If you did, thank you for listening. Um, what do they say? What do they say on here? Like, comment, share, hype, subscribe, all that nonsense. Do whatever you want to do. But yeah, first of all, if you made it to the end, thank you for watching or listening. Of course, thank you for listening all the way. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you hear from me again. Hopefully I'll be back. But we're really just gonna have to start talking about some different things, and hopefully, I'm sure it's already out there. I don't want to say I'm getting it started. I know it's already happening. I just can't find it. And again, I think my main purpose in starting posting this channel is maybe drawing some of that to me. Maybe if I can get this flame lit, if I can light my candle, I can find others who are carrying theirs. But yeah. So with that little corny notion, I'm gonna go. But thank you guys again. Hope you all have a great day, night, evening, morning, and I'll see you next time. Bye.